Today, we have a case of someone in $35,000 of debt. Let's read on the case together. Hi Josh Tan, first off, kudos to your YouTube gig. Thank you. I wish I have watched this earlier, but hey, better late than never. Absolutely agree. So let me introduce myself. I'm Mr ZTD, and here's my poor financial situation. Okay, now we have some juice to squeeze. But Mr. ZTD, as I describe the case in a quick while, I hope to go in this with possibly a constructive approach. And some things that I mentioned, hopefully don't take it the wrong way. I mean well, and I really want to throw some alternative suggestions to hopefully get you out of this hole. So let's look at some of your numbers. Gross income, $4,500. Net take home, $3,580. So if you are in your mid-30s right now, my guess is your OA contribution is about $950. This will be an important part of our equation later. I've actually sourced more information from ZTD, and he's also mentioned that he has 3 children and a wife who's earning about $2,500 per month. So their total gross income is about $7,000. That's okay. And to feed 3 children, that's not too easy, but that's not the main source of the reason why he got into debt also. Let's read on some of the numbers. Outflows, home, $1,000. I want to quiz a bit further. What does this $1,000 mean? And it actually is family grocery expenses. Household of 5, I think this is very reasonable. HDB outflow, $700 per month, paying off interest. So in the quiz also, is this HDB loan or is this renovation loan? Renovation loan, try not to touch them. They are costly. So thankfully, this is HDB loan. And Mr. ZTD has actually mentioned that he's paying right now $700 in cash because he's changed his CPF deduction to save $100 per month that he can transfer to SA at the end of the year. Now, this isn't a very good idea. Transferring to SA, yes, you can get 1.5% more in terms of interest. But right now, your problem is in cash flow. Your problem is not in retirement. We need to fix immediate problems first before we can fix problems after the age of 55. So I wouldn't suggest that. Hopefully, after this discussion, you reverse it back, pay more in OA. You will need that to get out of this hole. So if you do math correctly, his OA take home is $950. 100 is set aside, means OA deducting $850. 700 in cash means his total monthly mortgage is $1,550. I need to do a curious search. What kind of home is Mr. ZTD staying in right now? If this were to be accurate, a $350,000 loan is what he is shouldering right now because the monthly mortgage payment is around that $1,550 size. This could mean that it's either a BTO 4-room or an old resale 4-room that he's staying in. So not too bad. Or if his wife is also chipping in her own CPF OA to the equation, that means their total loan could be actually $450,000 because the monthly mortgage will be closer to $2,000 range. That would mean that likely they are staying in a 5-room BTO or old resale 5-room flat. Now this is important because I have a suggestion that relates to this, so stay right to the very end. Let's read on a bit further. Donation, $100 per month. I actually quizzed about why are you still donating money. You are now in a difficult situation. Mr. ZD has mentioned that giving is better than receiving. I like that, but I don't think you're in a position right now to do that. Keep that for a future when you are out of this hole. How about it? Insurance costs, $25. Now, $25 per month can't even get you medical insurance. I think there is clear indication of underinsurance on this front. Mr. ZTD, you are almost the sole breadwinner. Your pay is vitally important. You have a mortgage that is $500,000 worth. You need to insure that firstly. Do they have a term plan? It doesn't cost too much. You also need to insure for critical illness. These are off the priority list simply because your cash flows are tight. But imagine this. If a medical situation were to hit, you would realize that your hole will become bigger because your bills need to be paid, but your income is going to drop off. That's what insurance will deliver to you as the main breadwinner. So once you're out of this hole, I would strongly suggest go and tidy up this area. Phone bills, $45. internet $50, personal bills $300, which maybe equates to $10 per day. Now when I see round figures like this, personal bill $300, home $1,000, I think these are rough estimates. Usually if you have done a thorough audit, you will be giving me numbers like $370 or $920. If I'm not wrong, these are estimates, and very often when we do estimates, we underestimate. So Mr. ZTD, go do a thorough audit. Look at your credit cards, look at your Grab account, look at what's going in and out. Be very honest about the situation to your wife also, and let her know that, hey, we are in a hole. We need to make serious, urgent changes. Let's read on further. There are debts on the book. DRS. DRS actually stands for Debt Repayment Scheme, and it's an alternative to bankruptcy. At least this caps your per month outflow. I hope in this entire discussion that you can pay it off sooner than later. $500 per month, total quantum loan of $24,000. Hanif, $500 per month with a remaining of $3,000. Is this a personal loan? I'm not too sure about it. In that case, this will clear off in 6 months. Straits Euro, $500 per month. Is this a motor loan? I'm also not too sure about it, but this is about $8,000. So all in all, there is $35,000 worth of debt. Let's read on a bit further. With this, the only solution I can have some breathing space is to get a new job, but it isn't easy. Another option I was thinking of is side hustle, and the only way I know is to drive private hire part-time. That will mean either renting or buying a car. No. I dislike this idea personally, because I've heard of stories before that people, when they buy a car or lease a car, thinking, okay, my family can use, and then I do some sideline, very often they are too tired to do the hours that they imagine they are going to do. Their income doesn't come in, or their income is way below what they expected. That's one. Second, they fall sick, they get COVID, they're off 2 weeks, they can't work. And then the car cost is an extra burden to this already very tight situation. Third, they get into accidents. They are out of capital. They need to pay for the mirror that cracked because they bumped into something, etc., etc. I really think that driving private hire as a part-time to get out of this hole might instead put you in a deeper hole. But let me hear what you have to say. The car I'm eyeing right now costs $1,865 if I buy it. Okay. I've actually recently done a video of if you are buying a car for the first time, what kind of income you need, or what kind of potential outflows. So let's see whether they match. In that case, if you're curious, look for links above and look for links at the end of this whole discussion. Petrol costs $550, road tax $250, insurance $250. In my guess, this is when you have zero NCD. That's why the insurance cost is so high. Parking charges $150, maintenance $200. All in all, if you buy a car, it's $3,300 thereabouts. If you're out to lease, this is what you look like. Monthly, $2,600. Petrol and parking are the same, so your total cost is also around $3,300. So you listening in, what is the difference? Why you buy a car and why you lease a car is roughly the same per month outflow. I think the difference is when you buy a car, when you sell it, the scrap value or the resale value comes to you. There's some money retained inside, correct? When you lease, there's nothing that you'll get back once you surrender the car. It's more of a pay-per-use. But that also gives you more flexibility in many ways. Of the two, I definitely prefer leasing. And of leasing versus, for example, Grab food riding, I would for sure choose Grab food riding because there's no vehicle cost. You will never worsen your own debt situation by taking on a financial commitment. So let's read on a bit further on what Mr. ZTD has to share. Before you judge me, it is a mid-size COE Conti car. No. Apart from personal satisfaction, no. Passengers usually tend to engage more conversations when in a nicer car. I intend to utilize the car not only for ferrying customers, but to network as I plan to use this car to engage in other automobile activities as well. Mr. ZTD, I did GrabHitch before for a period. I also thought, very smart idea, if I have a meeting in Yishun, I drive up, I pick someone, $12, very smart, and I can get to network. My entire participation in this GrabHitch idea was a pipe dream. I thought I could meet customers. I'm worried that this whole idea is just your own personal liking of that mid-sized Conti car, it doesn't bring you better conversations, it doesn't bring you customers and a network. People who jump on a car usually want to get to their work quickly, they might be on the phone. It is unlikely that you can form deep relationships. What do you think I should do? I do not have the mental nor financial capacity, not true, to sit through a course for a few months. Be risk averse or hustle or do it differently. P.S. How would you invest $5,000? Pay off towards debt or invest? I'll jump back to the question. I do not have mental nor financial capacity. Now, if you're in a stuck situation also, you need to unshackle this kind of mindset thinking. Because if you define it that way, you trap yourself to there's no solution. You do, Mr ZTD. You have to, in fact. There's this important quote. Those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. The world works pretty hard, you know. We see foreign workers on the road working on Saturday nights. Why can't we work on Saturday nights also? I take calls with CEOs on Sundays, and what I realize is after my meeting, they have other calls to go. They are obviously way richer than us, and yet they are working on Sundays. Are you also working on Sundays? Or are you prepared to burn your Sundays to get yourself out of this hole? Take control over your Sundays. Because this quote, incredible change happens in your life when you decide to take control of what you do have power over. And to this point, I have a further tip to add. Changing your Sunday is a very small and achievable step. Use that as a first momentum and you can snowball all the positive efforts from there. Now, I would like to answer the question of how fast we should get ourselves out of this hole. Once we're in a hole, the best thing to do is get out of it ASAP. It should not be dragged over 3 years. It should not be dragged over 2 years even. Tackle that in 1 year. I hope that is the drive, that's the urgency that you have. And if you were to define the equation, $35,000 in debt, 1 year, how to clear? That is $3,000 a month. Where to find $3,000 a month, correct? That's where you crack your head, think a bit deeper, and push yourself a bit more. Get ready for 80-hour work weeks because that's the minimum you need to do to get out of this hole itself. Keep your full-time job, hustle, and find all the other possible income sources because your problem is an income problem. Your problem is a hunger problem. If you're hungry, you need to get out of there no matter what. Your children's future depend on you also getting out of them and providing them a bit better. How about that? So what I'll be doing firstly is just now we mentioned, it's possibly a 4-room or 5-room flat, correct? And from what we understand, there are 3 bedrooms. I would suggest you and wife bunk into 1 room, kids all into 1 room. You need to do a room rental for one of the rooms, unfortunately. Sacrifice family privacy. Go in this route because this room rental could bring you $800 very easily and help you massively in this equation. You need to take this hit to get out of this hole ASAP. It should not be smooth sailing. Let's cruise. I'll find a better job. No. Urgency starts right now. We take the hit right now. Family would suffer together with me until you get out of this hole. We don't do room rentals anymore. That's quite possibly the easiest passive income source you can access right now. So what does that mean? Our equation, $3,000 per month extra. $800 is solved by room rental. That leaves us with $2,200. Mr. ZTD, I'd like to suggest for you to consider this strongly. Don't do what you like. Do what has market value right now. What you like is car trading that requires capital. Car sales, maybe don't need capital. You can burn your weekends doing car sales by working in a car dealership. Not only in car sales, we have often seen people join property agencies right now. Property sales are quite possibly the hottest, biggest quantum that you can do right out there, which also requires you to sit through a course that takes a few months. So you need to unshackle that mindset and be willing to dig on very quickly. So if you think, hey, these two are difficult, what other methods can I squeeze out money? Let me suggest some things for you. If you have a friend doing an F&B business, I've seen before on TikTok, someone who is a nasi lemak boss. If he is struggling to find managers to manage the stores on weekends and is a friend of yours for whatever chance that you have, work for him. He's going to pay well on weekends because it's very hard to find people. Find the right boss, you can fit in to his equation and he can save your situation. Or what about this? I've been to BTO flats and I see in the lifts, if you realize, very often renovation stickers, furniture supplies, etc. etc. If you see market trends, this year is a record for BTO developments. There is so much money to be made there. Cold call these people, these firms to offer part-time work or to ask if they have sales jobs for you. Because again, when you do sales, you never lose money. You can make money when you help people sell more. What can lose you money? If you go into MLM, for example, you buy a membership, you commit to products, etc. etc. Don't waste time there. Find sales job that has market value and dive on quickly and get ready to work extra hard. Hopefully this entire discussion can reshape your approach, and I'll share this book with you, How to $1 Million. I'll give you a copy for sharing your story, and if you'd like to purchase How to $1 Million, my ebook, I'll open up for this episode. Thank you for listening right at the very end. Mr ZTD, if you're listening in, I wish you the best. I hope some of my blunt pointers can jolt you to success sooner than later. And I wish you the best. Take care as always. Goodbye.